All right, let's talk about something that I'm pretty sure has happened to every single one of us. You finally get a quiet moment, you try to calm your thoughts, and bam, your mind is suddenly louder and busier than ever. Today, we're going to dig into why that happens and, more importantly, how to see it not as a failure, but as something your mind actually needs to do. You know the feeling, right? You're trying to meditate or maybe just enjoy a peaceful cup of coffee. You're telling yourself, okay, just be calm, be present. And instead of that lovely silence you were hoping for, your brain decides to throw a parade of the most random thoughts you can imagine. It is so frustrating. And the thing is, it's never the important stuff you're trying to solve. It comes completely out of left field. One minute, you're focused on your breathing, and the next you're thinking about some random dog you saw on the street last week. Or you're replaying a dumb argument with someone who chewed you out years ago. Or a friend just pops into your head. Sometimes it's a good memory, but a lot of the time, it's a not so good one. This isn't you failing. This is something else entirely. So what if all that mental chatter isn't a distraction at all? What if it's actually a form of deep cleaning? Let's flip the script and look at this from a totally new perspective. There's actually a concept for this in Thai called gan tai thai arom, which basically means an emotional unloading or a release. I want you to think of it like this. It's a natural, automatic process where your mind finally gets the chance to release all the junk it's been storing up. It's not you getting distracted, it's your mind finally taking out the trash. So why does our mind do this? Well, it turns out our minds are basically hoarders. They have this deep-rooted habit of storing, well, everything. Every thought that comes up, every intense thing that's ever happened to us, all those strong feelings, all those get filed away deep inside. So when you finally get still and quiet, the mind's automatic cleanup crew kicks in and just starts unloading all of this old data. And listen, if you only take one thing away from this, let it be this. When that random thought about a dog or that old argument just appears out of nowhere, you did not choose to think it. You were trying to do the exact opposite. It just surfaced all by itself. It's the mind's programming just running its course, and it has nothing to do with your intention. Now, this brings us to where the real problem lies. That first thought that pops up, that's not the issue. The real trap, the thing that causes all the frustration and suffering, is what we choose to do in the moment after it appears. This chart just lays it out perfectly. Look at the left side. A thought arises. That's it. It's just the mind's natural release process. It happens on its own. But then look at the right side. This is where we get into trouble. We grab onto that thought, and we start thinking further. We analyze it, we judge it, we build a whole story around it. That is what causes the suffering and completely derails our focus. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. The moment we decide to go and think further, that's when it starts to squeeze our heart and make us suffer. That's where the anxiety, the frustration, and the sadness come from. It's not the thought itself, but our engagement with it that pulls us away from any sense of peace. Okay, so you might be thinking, great, don't follow the thought. So what am I supposed to do instead? Well, there's actually a really simple and practical technique for this. It's basically a 4-step process. First, just recognize it. Oh, okay, a thought just popped up. That's it. Second, understand what it is. Right, this isn't me. This is just my mind doing its automatic unloading thing. The third step is the most important. Just observe it. Watch it like you'd watch a cloud passing in the sky. No judgment, no story, just watching. And finally, once it naturally fades away on its own, you gently bring your attention back to whatever you were focusing on. And I really need to stress this part. This is not about fighting your thoughts or trying to push them away. You know, that's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. It's just going to pop back up with even more force. This is the opposite. It's about giving the thought enough space to just be there, be seen, and then drift away on its own. And this really leads to a huge shift in perspective. We have to realize that a lot of what our mind and body do is just not under our direct control. They run on their own programming. And when we can finally accept that, we can stop blaming ourselves every time one of these automatic thoughts shows up. It's not a personal failure. To really make this whole idea stick, there's this incredibly powerful metaphor that explains exactly why this unloading process isn't just helpful, but absolutely necessary. I want you to imagine this. Let's say you've got something, well, rotten, like old resentments, anxieties, painful memories, and you've wrapped them up really, really tight and hidden them away somewhere deep inside, thinking you're keeping everything neat and clean. But you're not getting rid of it. You're just hiding it. So, what happens if you never unwrap that package? If you just let it sit there, festering? Well, eventually, that rottenness is going to start leaking out. The container will get too full, and it will overflow, contaminating everything else. And that's exactly what happens when we constantly suppress all our mental and emotional baggage. So, allowing your mind to have these unloading moments, that's the process of finally opening up that container and letting the rot out. It might not feel great in the moment, I get it, but it is the only way to truly clean out your mind. By letting the stuff surface and pass, you finally create new space, and you start to feel genuinely, truly lighter. And that really brings us to our final question, a question for you to think about. When you sit in silence and your mind starts to chatter, what are the things that keep bubbling up? See them not as annoying distractions, but maybe as a message. What is it that your mind is trying so hard to unload so that you can finally be free?